exactly over the asking price are buyers having to go to win properties in the Temecula Valley? That's what we're talking about today. Hi, Jessica here from Active Realty and the Genung team. We are starting a new monthly segment. Scott did it last month and he's going to be doing it again. Scott is an agent on our team. He's been doing a really good job and he has put together some great numbers for some Temecula neighborhoods. He's going over 9 Temecula neighborhoods, how much are buyers having to go to win properties in these different neighborhoods. He's going to give you all sorts of stats. It's really, really great information. Although these numbers, it makes it seem like it's still a very strong seller's market. If you haven't yet, make sure you check out our video from a couple weeks ago where it's not quite reflecting in the numbers yet, but we are feeling a market shift and we're seeing very initial signs of the market slowing, whereas we're having less showings on properties and less multiple offers over asking are being received. So we basically explained we were going 100 miles per hour. Now it seems like we're going 90 or 80. So still a strong seller's market, but we do feel it cooling. I want to make sure that we point that out. So Scott's been doing an awesome job. He's going to come in here and run the numbers for you.
Hi everyone, Scott here with the Genung team with a quick look at some Temecula neighborhood stats from the month of March 2022. Last month I talked about 3 different communities in Temecula, including Redhawk, Paseo Del Sol, and Paloma Del Sol, and looked at some of the stats in terms of how many homes were sold, how much for over asking price were those homes selling for on average, and how many days on market were they on the market on average. And I did that same thing for the month of March, only this month I decided to look at 9 different neighborhoods and communities here in Temecula, and let's jump into it. Up first we have Paseo del Sol, where 16 homes sold in the month of March, 14 of which went for over asking price. The average price above asking was $45,000 with a high of $125,000 over list price. Average days on market was 5 days. Next we have Paloma del Sol, which neighbors Paseo del Sol, where 8 homes sold in the month of March, 7 of which went for over asking price. The average price above asking was $28,000 with a high of $33,000 over the list price. Average days on market in this neighborhood was 6 days. Up next we have Redhawk, where 16 homes sold in the month of March, 10 of which went for over asking price. The average price above asking was $55,000 with a high of $125,000 over the list price. The average days on market in this neighborhood was 6 days. Neighboring Redhawk to the east, we have Vail Ranch, where 7 homes sold in the month of March, 5 of which went for over asking price. The average price above asking was $32,000 with a high of $50,000 over the list price. The average days on market in this neighborhood was 6 days. Neighboring Redhawk to the west, we have Wolf Creek, where 7 homes sold in the month of March, 6 of which went for over asking price. The average price above asking was $41,000 with a high of $100,000 over the list price. Average days on the market here was surprisingly 14 days. Still in South Temecula, up next is Morgan Hill, where 4 homes sold in the month of March, 2 of which went for over asking price and the other 2 sold at the list price. For the 2 homes that went over asking, there was a significant difference between them, with one home selling for $25,000 over the list price and the other selling for $160,000 over the asking price. Average days on market here was 7 days. Next we have Crowne Hill, where 7 homes sold in the month of March, 5 of which went for over asking price. The average price above asking was $53,000 with a high of $105,000 over the list price. Average days on market in this neighborhood was 7 days. Just north of Crowne Hill, we have Vintage Hills, where 3 homes sold in the month of March, 2 of which went for over asking price. One of the properties went for $40,000 over, and the other went for $67,000 over the list price. Average days on market here was 6 days. And finally, jumping across town to the northwest corner of Temecula, just north of the mall, we have the Harveston community. There were 8 homes sold in the month of March here, 4 of which went for over asking price. The average price above asking was $60,000 with a high of $95,000 over the list price. Average days on market here was 10 days. So now the question is, as potential buyers and sellers, what information can you take away from this data? while the figures speak for themselves and the data can be interpreted in a multitude of ways, there are a couple things that I think really indicate the type of market that we're in, and that is we are still in a very strong seller's market where the vast majority of properties, regardless of the neighborhood that they are in, are going for over the asking price while only being on the market for about a weekend. So while the seller's market is very strong and sellers are benefiting from the low inventory and the high demand, buyers, time will tell if in the coming months you'll see some relief. Comment down below or reach out to one of us directly if you have any questions about getting ready to buy or sell. And I'll be back next month with another Temecula market update. And in the meantime, back to you guys.
Thanks so much for that segment, Scott. There was some really good information in there. Let us know what you think down below in the comments. See you next week. Bye.